Welcome back, techies. This part will be long as I'm going to show you few programs, so get ready. Let's start with exceptions. Exceptions are errors which get triggered automatically. We can also forcefully trigger an exception and handle through our program code. So as you can see in the screen, although the code might be syntactically correct, but the logic behind it or unexpected situations might occur, which will break the flow of our code. So you can see some examples here. The first one is when we try to divide a number by 0, which is also known as zero division error. The second one is when the user enters an unexpected value for an input, which is value error. We will go deeply in this really very soon. The third point on your screen says that an exception is a Python object that represents an error. As I said before, it is the responsibility of programmer to resolve the error and handle exceptions wisely. Lastly, always remember syntax error is also an exception, but all the exceptions cannot be syntax errors. Our next topic is built-in exceptions. Commonly occurring exceptions are usually defined in the interpreter. These are called built-in exceptions. Python has an extensive library which already includes some occurred exception, which helps to save the time of developers like us. Stated on your screen, when a built-in exception is occurred, the appropriate exception handler code is executed, which displays the reason along with the raised exception name. We will learn deeply about this in our next videos. Here you can see an example where you can see an example for the name error. So now let us try some examples for built-in exceptions in our Python ideally by using the table which is given in our textbook. So guys, coming to this table, here we can see some few examples of built-in exceptions used in Python. So the first one here, as you can see, is syntax error, and it states that it is raised when there is an error in the syntax of the Python code, which I've already discussed in the previous video. Now coming to the value error, it is raised when a built-in method or operation receives an argument which has the right data type but which is mismatched or has inappropriate values. So now let us speak about IO error. IO error means input or output error. Here it is given that it is raised when the file specified in a program statement cannot be opened. We will learn about this concept further in our second chapter, but for now, we will understand that when we have assigned a work for the Python, which is to open a file. And now we get to know that the file is not present or that file is corrupted. In that situation, IO error is occurred. In the textbook, they have just given us an example for an input error, but this can be also done through an output error too. So the next one is keyboard interrupt error. We have seen many times when we press a key on our keyboard by mistakenly. So this error handles these kind of mistakes. It is said here that it is raised when the user accidentally hits the delete or escape key while executing a program, due to which the normal flow of the program is interrupted. So the fifth one is import error. Here import is nothing but this statement which is the in your code where you are trying to import an module. So here it is says that it is raised when the requested module definition is not found. So it is raised when we want to get something from that module which is never present in that module. The next one is EOF error, which means that end of file error. So here it is said that it is raised when the end of file condition is reached without reading any data or input. It is also raised when we try to close a file without opening it. We will learn about this later in our second chapter. So the next one here is zero division error. So as we all know, we cannot divide a number by zero. If we do so, we will get a infinite result. Here it is said that it is raised when the denominator in a division operation is zero. The eighth one is The index error. It is raised when the index of a script in a sequence is out of range. It is similar to withdrawing 1 lakh rupees from your bank account while your bank account has the balance of only 50,000 rupees. Eighth one is name error. So it is raised when a local or global variable name is not defined. So this is raised when we try to print or get the value of a variable after defining an variable which is never present in our code. The next one is indentation error. So this indentation error is raised due to incorrect indentation in the program code. This indentation is used in Python to separate different blocks of code. So when we try to not follow the rules of indentation, Python thinks every part of your code as a single block of code, which is incorrect according to Python. The next one is type error. It is raised when operator is supplied with a value of incorrect data type. It is commonly occurred when we try to get an input from the user. The last one is overflow error. It is raised when the result of a calculation exceeds the maximum limit of numeric data type. So it says that when we try to print a number or when the result of an calculation is so large that the computer or the Python interpreter cannot interpret it, that time this overflow error is occurred. So now this is an example of syntax error. As we know that I have missed using parentheses here and here. So let us try running this code. Here you can see the Python is showing us missing parentheses in call to print. This does mean that we are missing two parentheses here. This is an example for value error. Here we can say that I have assigned a value which will be the input from the user and which will be converted into an integer type to the variable a, and I'm trying to print that variable. Here the program is asking me for an integer, but as a user, if I type a string like ABC, here I will get a value error saying invalid literal for integer with base 10. So this is an example for input output error or IO error where I'm trying to open a non-existent file named XYZ file with read mode. Here I can see file not found error is popped out saying no such file or directory. It is because I don't have a file named XYZ file in my desktop. Here I'm getting file not found error because in this new version of Python 3, this IO error is again subdivided into many types, and file not found error is also one part of that IO error. Let us now discuss about import error. So here I am trying to import a module or a function named noFile from the math module. But in reality, there is no such module or a function inside the math named noFile. So as expected, here we get import error, which says that cannot import name no file from math because there isn't such file or such function called no file inside our math module. So for the ones who don't know, math module is a Python standard module which is used for calculating many mathematical formulas and expressions. Here is an example for zero division error where I'm trying to divide 5 by 0, and as we all know we can't divide any number by 0. So let us try running this program. Here we can see a zero division error, which is division by 0, which does mean that it's invalid if we divide any number with 0. Here is a short example for index error where I have a list. Now I'm trying to print the ninth index of the list named my list, where as you can clearly see there isn't any ninth index in this list. So let us now try running this program. Here we obviously get an index error saying list index out of range. So here is an example for type error where we can see I have assigned the value of a string A, B, C, D to the variable of A, and I have assigned the value of 12 to the variable of B. Now I'm trying to assign the result of the division between A and B to our variable C. Here we can see a type error, which is unsupported operand type, as we are trying to divide and string with an integer. So yes guys, this was it for the second part of our chapter. We will try to cover next few topics in the next part. Thank you for watching this video. Keep programming.